Yo, what's up, everybody? How's it going today? Let's get this live stream on the road here. All right, I'm just gonna give it like a minute. What's up, Shaquille? I'm just gonna give it about a minute for people to kind of join me. Then we'll get it going right away. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's doing well. Tokyo, you want to say hi to everybody? Okay, everybody, you guys all need to buy Dogecoin, or you need to buy Dog with Hat. Is that what everybody should buy, huh? This is Tokyo. She's the world's the bestest trader in the world. She's made about a gazillion dollars in day trading, and she's also ranked #1 as day trader in every magazine and publication in the world. That's right, Tokyo. Say hi to everyone. Okay, go be free. Okay, let's jump right into it, guys. So today is the end of the month, and that's really good if you've made it till the end of the month, because April is going to be the most important month that you can. And by the way, I'm using a new microphone. Let me know if there's any issues technically. And congratulations for making it to the end of March, because April is by far the most important month so far of this year. Because why? Dun 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 dun! It's Bitcoin halving season. And April is going to be, it's going to be so important. What happens after April for the next few months, it's going to determine the rest of the next cycle. So first of all, we got to recap quickly with what has been going on, okay? And I need you guys to all understand how the Bitcoin cycle has been occurring thus far for the past few years. Every time there is a Bitcoin halving in November of 2012, okay? You see an accumulation period, and then what happens after the accumulation period? A gigantic breakout occurs to the upside, okay? Halving, accumulation, breakout, 2012, okay? And then the next one is halving. Sure, a drop occurred, all right, black swan event, but let's just pretend that you just took a vacation around that drop, and then you came back after. Black swan event, all right, accepted. Bitcoin drops, they occur. But what happens after that? An accumulation period occurs. And then after the accumulation period occurs, what happens? A major rally to the upside. You guys are seeing the pattern yet? Guess what happens here? In 2020, a Bitcoin halving event occurs. And then what happens after the Bitcoin halving event? An accumulation period occurs. And then what happens after the accumulation period? A major rally to the upside. Are you guys starting to see the pattern? So anybody that says that like, oh, Bitcoin, this time, it already broke the all-time high. It's never done that before the halving. Every time, okay, there's been a halving event, we actually never broke the all-time high before the halving. It was always after the halving slightly, right? Halving, and then we break the all-time high over here later. Just like in 2021, same thing, or 2020, right? Halving occurs right here, but then we didn't actually break the all-time high. We break it a little bit later. But right now, all of these people that are bearish are like, oh, you know what? This cycle is completely different. 100%. It's 1,000% different. I agree with you. Because you got to remember the catalyst, okay? The catalyst of back then for why the bull market happened in 2020. Like, just think about it for a moment, and COVID, okay? People were given extra money, okay? They were literally given extra money to stay home because of COVID. That's literally what happened. So it was a major catalyst for people just throwing money randomly into the crypto market, which led to a huge narrative of the Bitcoin bull market season and altcoin seasons, right? But right now, it's a little bit different because quantitative easing is still coming into play. Like, one thing that we need to understand is that for any major rally to occur, people need to have money, okay? Retail investors need to come in. And for that to happen, the interest rates, they need to decline. Right now, they're so high that people still can't borrow any money. If you want to take a loan out to expand your business, to buy a car, to renovate your house, for whatever you want, right? It's difficult for you to take a loan out because the interest rate is so freaking damn high that it's discouraging. And the government does this because the inflation rate is so friggin' high that they need to curb the spending of people. And they do this by raising the interest rate. But eventually what happens is the money printer, it turns back on. And the interest rate, it ends up decreasing through quantitative easing. This is like a natural cycle that always happens in the world, okay? And then when the money printer turns back on, and guess what? The federal election is occurring in the later this year, in December. And the federal election is always a great time for crypto because there's going to be a lot of politicians that are very pro towards Bitcoin. Then the money printer also turns back on. And when people have more money, because the money printer turns back on, right, people are more inclined to spend. And when they do spend, they put it, guess where, guys? They put it into crypto. So this is going to be a narrative that will begin the next bull market. And just to catch everybody up, guess how many days after the halving last time we led to the all-time high? Just take a guess, guys. You should know by now. 525 days, okay? All right? So now we take a look at the last halving. How many days till we reach the all-time high after the last halving? 545 days. Are you guys seeing the trend? It's averaging anywhere from 525 to 540 days. So if the halving occurred around here, after that, 500 days or so, 540 days, is around October. So you should understand that you should not hold any of your crypto past around October next year, okay? So that's just to catch everyone up. Now, let's talk about the stock to flow ratio. This is a beautiful chart that not many people even take a look at. Let's explain it in a nutshell. The stock to flow ratio is simply a ratio of the stock divided by the flow, okay? The stock refers to the total number of Bitcoins that have been mined, okay? And the flow refers to the new Bitcoins mined each year. So this red line right here is the stock to flow ratio. And oops, every time I click there, I gotta keep refreshing the page for it to come back, so hang tight with me. So you can see that the stock to flow ratio, it's actually been following the price of Bitcoin ever since the conception of Bitcoin. And this is not surprising as well. So you can see here that if this model were to be correct, we're taking a look at like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Bitcoin. You know, by 2026, 2028 or so, it's going to reach like, it could potentially reach $1 million or 400,000 based off of this stock to flow ratio. Now, it's followed it so far since. It doesn't mean that it has to follow it and it's obligated to, okay? So let's talk about this further. See these vertical lines here? These vertical lines here are the Bitcoin halving cycles, okay? You see it, right? The vertical line, Bitcoin halving cycle, halving cycle, halving cycle. And the next one is also coming up here very soon. So, and you see this color chart right here? This is the way that it works, okay? When we get closer to the Bitcoin halving, we go further down this list, okay? So when the Bitcoin halving basically begins, okay, when the halving occurs, we start off at the top over here in the reddish color. As we get closer to the next halving again, we keep going down the color chart. We go down to the color chart, and then it gets to this purple at the 0 down over here that you guys probably don't see. Here, let me just make this a little bit better. There you go. Now you see it. You get to the purple, and then the Bitcoin halving occurs, right? And then it starts to get red again, and then it goes down to the purple, then the Bitcoin halving occurs again, then it refreshes. So if you take a look at this color chart of what has been occurring so far, okay, you can see that it leads to the Bitcoin halving right here. It gets purple, and then it gets to the reddish color at the beginning over here, okay? And then it gets red, and then eventually there's massive euphoria for the red, okay? And then it leads into like the greenish, okay? This is where the ideal zone is, around 800. It's kind of like light green, dark green, bright green, light blue, like around there. But leading from yellow to green, that's where the major bull market is, okay? Just think of it as like warming up and then cooling down, okay? So red's getting hotter and hotter, and green's like amazing. So what do you see every time, guys, okay? If you take a look at this right here, I'm just gonna snap this really quickly so I can put this in paint so I can draw something for you guys, okay? Okay, let's do this. Okay, so if you take a look right here, what you're seeing is at every time after the halving occurs, it's bright red, right? It's bright red, and then it's bright red, it's bright red. And what do you notice? Every time this eventually changes into like a yellowish to greenish, which leads to the all-time high. Every single time it has led to a major all-time high, right? From the halving, it's led to a major all-time high. It's led to a major all-time high. This one right here is not going to be any different. If you think it's going to be any different, yeah, it might be, but you're not following the historical trends enough. Eventually, there's going to be an accumulation period, and the price is also going to go up as well, just like how it's always done. And like, there's no reason to believe it won't do the same thing if it has done it every single time so far. Always have to look at the data, and the data is pointing towards a major bull market accumulation period. And you must understand this, okay? I need to tell you firmly, like you're a family member and you are, or you're like a good friend, you need to understand that after the Bitcoin halving period, the data has shown us that there's a period of accumulation. And then after that accumulation, the price spikes to the upside so effing hard, leading up to the all-time high eventually, anywhere from 525 days to 545 days based off of historical data. Therefore, it must be in your best interest, okay, to start getting into crypto if you are not in it already. Therefore, you must be paying attention to buying at the best times, which is slightly after the Bitcoin halving event occurs. And if you don't buy then, that will probably be the very last time that you could get into crypto at any reasonable price. Because if you don't buy then, and don't take this as financial advice, because you know what? It could also go completely to the downside and make a trend that's unlike any other, right? Like Bitcoin doesn't have to behave, or altcoins either, or the crypto market, it doesn't have to behave the way that we've seen it behave before. But because we've seen it behave in such a similar way, why would it not do something very similar again? So we should expect this to happen. And you know what? The charts, they don't lie. They have been incredibly accurate for the past few years. This is my third bull market. So after a third bull market and a few $1 million later, I hope that I've earned your trust by now, okay? So what I'm saying is make sure you guys are paying attention to after the halving. It's a very significant period. And I think it's been more than 10 minutes already, so I'm gonna end it here, okay? And by the way, guys, if you guys have not seen yet, or if, so there's two categories. There's day traders and there's investors. I'm like 90% investor, and I'm about a 10% day trader now. If you were a day trader, I wanted to help people out until about the end of tomorrow, Monday. I made my course from $400 to $125. It's probably the best day trading course out there, and it's 70% off right now. Okay, why do I still make courses and sell it? People are like, oh, Philakone, if you've like made millions of dollars, why do you still make courses? Well, first of all, it's fun, okay? It's fun to do it. People appreciate it. And if I made something for $0, trust me, it's not a high value product. People wouldn't appreciate it. Everything of high value needs to have a price attached to it. That's my opinion. Not only that, it's to respect my own time. Not only that, it's to buy a lot of cocaine. I'm just kidding. It's free drug money, motherfuckers. I'm just joking, not joking. It's also to support my alcoholic dog, Tokyo, and my 4 cats that do a shit ton of blow. I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna joke, you guys. I'm just kidding around. But anyways, take a look at it. It's from $400 to $125, and you get 3 months of Discord as well. And I'm actually making a new course right now. It's gonna be like, it's gonna blow your mind how cheap it is. Probably like $50. I'm gonna make the craziest investing course for what you need to know to be a super hyper successful investor. When to buy, when to sell, what sectors are hot, what to look out for, exactly what to do. Basically like a step-by-step tutorial of what to do to be successful if you want to invest. Why should you trust me? Because I'm managing a $6.5 million portfolio, and I believe it's going to hit well over 8 figures. I got your back, guys. So stay tuned for a crazy $50 course That's going to come out like in 2 weeks. So anyways, make sure you guys are accumulating 2 months after Bitcoin. The halving period is coming in less than a few weeks. I hope you guys stay safe. Be very excited. Thank you for joining me. Hit the like.